Here we go.
Should we all go around and introduce ourselves again?
I think we are live. Yeah, may as well go around. Sure. All right, Roger. So here we are. I'm Trent Armstrong. Just make sure everybody knows who I am.
I'm Brent Tillman.
I'm Tim Ivey.
John Bay.
I'm Jonathan Steele.
Chano Garcia.
Tristan Rouse.
Jeremy Schaefer.
Morris Barrier.
And Mary Nance.
And Darren. All right. You're last, so I'll remember your name. Because there were about 4 Jonathans in the
So that's also so we can kind of make sure we know each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys giving me just a few minutes of your time. My name's Roger Kuehler. I know the last name doesn't look like Kuehler. Trust me, it's a mystery to me too. What's interesting is when you're 58 years old and you learn something about your last name you didn't know. I assumed when my family came over about 3 generations ago, they went, "What is that double dot thing? Let's get rid of that and add an E." And I recently learned that in German, if it's an A, O, or a U, and you lose the umlaut, you add an E. That's the actual Germanic to English translation, you add an E. So they actually did it right.
Yeah.
Why it's not still pronounced Kuehler, I have no idea. I'm with Atomica Music Library. We are a production music library. We also have custom music services available. Company's about 9 years old. I've been there about 16 months yesterday. I was previously with First Com Music, was there almost 8 years. Did one of these for Trent about 3 years ago in the theater. It was fantastic because I had this massive screen that I could see, and it was. This will be the second web demo I've done where I didn't drive and talk, and it's awesome. Someone else drives, so you can just do what I do, which is speak with my hands. Atomica Music, just atomic with an extra A. As I said, 9 years old. We just went over 1,000 albums in the library in January. What you'd expect, as in the sense of advertising, corporate spots, TV programming. We have music in Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. And I've licensed everything from national commercials, of course, to corporate internal training videos. You know, so it's all on the website. It's a really good website. If you'll just go into quick playlists, kind of want to cover this first. That one that opens everything up, and more importantly, to the far left, it opens up this area, and I'm going to show you where you can build a playlist and submit cue sheets if you need to. But if you could just go into pick an album, Trent.
All right, everybody.
There you go.
The Overcomers.
Don't
The
mess up, Trent.
Overcomers.
The Overcomers.
Where's the Overcomers? I like that. Right here?
Right
Okay.
there.
Yes.
I like that one.
Here are your edits. So that's where every title that when you just open up an album, that's the main full-strength, full-length track. And then that box is where you're going to find the 30s, the 60s, the alts, and the different versions. I love this because you can either download that edit, or on the main track, you can hit download all. That way, when you've built your playlist, and I love that track, but then you get into the project, I really don't want to have to cut 30. My advice is, unless you're putting it on a hard storage that you only have so much room in, just download all edits, because what you fell in love with was the track. You're going to decide which edit you want to use later, and it'll save you time in going back to finding it. It'll be easy to find, but it'll just save you that little bit of time of going back to download it. Of course, quick playlist, labels, albums, all tracks, all that information. Trent, pardon me. I actually know Trent's name. If you would just go into these 3 lines right there next to my playlist.
The hamburger menu.
And then hit, wait a minute. I'm sorry, new playlist, yes.
New playlist.
I've got some big screens at home, they're not this big. So, name it whatever you want. Name it for this group with this date or something. Name it what you want. You can do this with 2 or 3 clicks, the whole thing. You name it. If you only want the main track, leave that no, or just click on the word.
Sorry?
That's fine. Click on the word no. Actually, yeah. Now, if you put that to yes, every track you hit on, you're going to download all the edits. So, and then every time you add one, you'll see the number jump. And then just go ahead and hit, there you go.
Watch this. Oh,
Oh.
wrong one.
Oh no.
Wrong set.
Resignation.
Presentation.
I'm gonna tell my bosses I did a presentation tonight.
Create folder. Folder name. Big new folder. Create playlist. There we go.
Okay, now, go into, now which one's your playlist? Is it inside your folder? Okay, click on that. Now, you'll notice this playlist is now active. There's nothing in it yet, but you've activated it by clicking on it, and the big green there. Now, don't do anything else. Go up here, go search up to the top, go up to the top, and just put in rock. It doesn't matter which track it is, we're just going to have you go through the motion.
Your taste in music.
I think of that, I forget what the commercial was where they're in the German hostel and they've got that music just going like crazy. The guy's saying, Dita. You can barely hear him. So now, you hit play, you like the track.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's already great.
Hit the plus sign.
Mary loves it.
Yeah. That number jumps.
Okay.
Because there's the main track plus 4 edits.
Oh, there we go.
So just go ahead and do down here and pick some more, or do a little searching and pick some more.
Hell breaks loose.
Fisheye lens.
You click on the parts that are real thick, real tall.
Let's get, where's the drop?
That's a winner.
Absolutely.
Ship it.
Plus 2 tracks, 10 cuts.
2 cats. There you go. Okay. If you're done, hit done. There you go. Now you can go right back. You can click on Atomica Music. You can go back up to the top and click on anything you want to click on. Now it's time to go back to that. Anytime you scroll to the top. Yeah, there you go.
Ah, there we go.
Anytime you hit quick playlist or any of those, that's going to open over there. So that's how easy it is to build a playlist. And of course, if you click on your playlist,
Done.
If you'll notice now, add or remove, which means you can click on that, you can get rid of this one, or you add or remove, now it's open again. You want to add more tracks. So just reactivate it, add, remove. You've added 5 more tracks, hit done, playlist is closed. It's closed, but it's not finished forever, can't get into. The funny thing is, I hardly ever mess with the website.
That's my job.
Right. I mean, I do this, but a lot of the people that I deal with already know the website. So I'm a sales rep. You know, I'm usually talking collections and dollars and 1 year, 2 year, 3 year stuff. But now, let's do this. Open your playlist again. If you want to send this playlist to someone, they don't have download rights. You don't want them to download anything, but you have a client. You pick 5 songs and they want to hear the songs. Open that. Scroll back up to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've got a URL. You can just copy paste, send them that URL. This playlist will open.
That's cool.
So I'm going to go
They can't
make
download
a new
it,
tab.
but they can hear it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There it is.
I have a question.
Yes.
My workflow is that I download tracks that have what I call an audio watermark on them.
We don't have those.
Okay.
Really?
Right. Some libraries do. We chose not to.
So there's no way to try it with your video and see.
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
So how do you do that?
Our clients are either blanket clients or they're needle drop. If you're a needle drop client, meaning that you pay for every track you use with every job that you do, you have full access to the library. It is a total honor system. So if you're a needle drop client, you have full access to the library. You can download 5 tracks, you can marry them to picture, you can try them out. The client comes in, they look at it, and they say, I like number 3. We trash the other 4. You just let me know, Roger, I use this track. Here's the name of the production, client, and I'll send you a deal with all the information. We're good to go. The blanket clients, of course, they don't have to report. Because a needle drop client is per track, per job, you're paying as you go. A blanket is a 1, 2, or 3 year agreement, and you say, okay, I do local, regional, radio, TV commercials, I do corporate video, I do a doc every now and then, so we'll write your blanket with the clearances that you need. Phone call with me, we estimate what you think you're going to do in the next year. You may want to start with a 1-year deal. In that year, clientele picks up, you like the library, the service is good, we have free music search assistance. Okay, I'm good. The business is up, I'm going to sign a 3-year deal. The only thing that you would have to report to me, either to report so that we can do the back end with ASCAP BMI, or because it's not in your agreement. Your agreement probably isn't going to cover national commercials. Well, if you get a national commercial every now and then, you just pay for those as you go. But then the blanket covers everything else that we discussed that is in your wheelhouse. So then needle drop is leasing a car. The blanket agreement is buying the car. It comes with a payment, you get full use, and the needle drop, you pay for what you need in that project each time. So, like I said, the library is about 9 years old. I came from FirstCom. FirstCom's, 4,000 albums. Great library, great people. They took a guy that spent 30 years in the electrical construction business and gave him a shot. And I was their lead salesperson 2 years. So God bless them. Made a move about 16 months ago. I get to work from home. I had to put on adult clothes so I could go out to people tonight. So I had a guy ask me, he said, well, tell me the deal. I said, it's not near as many albums. I said, yeah, it's also not years old. We're 1,000 albums, 9 years old. We put out 30 new albums every quarter. A library our size has the power to also listen to our clients better about what you need more of in the library. FirstCom's a great library, but they're huge. And not that your opinion is not important, but it's one opinion of 10,000 clients. So we can react a little faster to that type of thing. If you look at my card, if you substitute Brian B, B-R-I-A-N-B, and I only spell Brian because I know people with 4 different spellings of Brian, that's the creative director, co-owner of Atomica. He also does music searches. It's a free service. You drop him a note and say, hey, I like this track, I need something in the style of, or I'm doing a series of training videos. They want something that's lab coat but not boring. Stay away from this instrument and this and that, and then he'll send you a link with suggestions. Wow. He's very good at it. He's built the library. He's one of the 2 owners. I'm so thrilled that he handles my searches. I'm an amateur musician. He's a professional musician, and he's built the library, so having Brian do your searches for you, that's a good thing for all of us.
What's his last name?
Bashirs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Brian's from the Dallas area. He moved to North Carolina 8 or 9 years ago. Super nice guy. B-E-S-H-E-A-R-S.
You talked about custom earlier.
Yes.
I'm not sure if any of us would ever need that, but you might as well talk about it.
Who knows? If anyone has seen the commercial for University of Phoenix, the commercial where they talk about freezing your tuition so that if you come and go in your educational path, you've signed on and they're not going to, we did that piece of music. That's ours straight out of the box. That's not even out of the library. There's a young man here in Dallas named John Meyer. He's the principal owner and composer for Merge Music, and John knocked that out of the park. They absolutely loved it. I recently licensed a custom piece for Lending Tree. It's in their newest series of commercials. So, of course, custom, it's kind of a 3-legged stool. You've got music out of the library, or you've got custom. And custom can be custom to custom. You know, because is it for AT&T and they're going to brand with it worldwide and it's going to be on all media possible, or is it for and this was a real example, is it for a casino up in the Northeast that services those 6 states and they wanted to use it on TV, radio, web, in-house and all that, and we did a piece for them. So the prices vary. Is it solo piano? Is it guitar? Is it a 4-piece band? Is it a full orchestra? So anytime someone brings up custom to me, I immediately get them in touch with Brian, simply because that's his wheelhouse as far as you might as well give the musical parameters to the person who is then going to work with studios and musicians and composers to create that piece from scratch. Most of the custom jobs you get, the contract will say we need a 4-minute standalone piece, we need a 3, a 2, a 1, a 30, and a 15, and we need 2 alternative tracks. You know, it's the full brief. So that's very interesting. It's exciting to get to do those. We don't do a lot of them. Really, not a lot of libraries do a lot, but we're certainly capable of doing it and have done it. So they're kind of exciting because they're just from scratch. But I mentioned the 3-legged stool. We've also taken a piece from the library. Someone didn't have custom budget, but we'll take a piece from the library, we'll tweak it, get out, leave an instrument out, add an instrument. Take one that was a 4-piece band and do it with a string quartet instead, but it's the same piece of music. So there's off-the-shelf, full custom, or what I call semi-custom.
Got it.
16 libraries. There's a small sound effects library. Axis is probably the oldest library in the bunch. Spot Society, this is John Myers, great stuff. This is ad agencies. Atomica, of course, was the beginning, but it's not an old library that they stopped. They started it 9 years ago, but they add stuff to the Atomica library every quarter, so that's real strong. You've got everything, like I say, from spots, advertising agencies, corporate, documentary, do a lot of hunting and fishing shows. But why? Because they pay us for the music. But really, he's a friend of mine. He is actually a client that I pulled over. His name is Richie Herod. He is a volunteer forest firefighter and a former park ranger up in the Northwest. I live vicariously through his pictures on his Facebook page because they're fantastic. But he uses some truly cinematic music with some of those beautiful landscape shots that they do in those type of shows. So some of it's the Southern Gothic rock, the twangy stuff. Yeah, but hey, if that's what it calls for. So, anything else? That was a great question. About 10 minutes ago.
Anything that you would very specifically point out as far as albums or composers or anything like that?
Well, as I know John Mayer, and I know really. If your best bet is just to search and see where it comes from. Mm-hmm. But if you go back to libraries, labels, yes, sorry, Merge, Spot Society, Catchphrase, Atomica, just some great stuff. Forza was kind of a dormant library that they recently added some new stuff to, and that's pretty exciting. Yeah, I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe your top 5. First Com, that would be the Evo and Gotham libraries. I mean, if anybody wanted anything, that's the two they wanted. Oh, no. I'm just making a comparison. Over at First Com, it was Evo and Gotham. If you had nothing else, you wanted those two libraries. One, they were huge, and they're very well produced. But as far as composers, there's not 10 people who create all this music. There's musicians and studios and artists and bands across the country, whatever they need. Brian and Scott over 20 years have built an incredible network of people. So when they need something, they go to people that they know that can create that type of work. You know, they don't have one person and everything they do sounds like the same bit of MIDI keyboard. So there's that.
All over the world too, huh?
We have partner contracts all over the world that they get to license for us there. I'm actually working on doing some licensing in Brazil because we don't have a partner in Brazil, so I can handle that. I was excited to hear that. So, for me personally, I love it here too, just because there were 10 reps where I used to be, and we all had little sections of the country, and we had a limited focus.
Mhm.
I work with TV, radio, corporate, film, documentary across the United States and Canada. So now I can license anything that anybody throws at me from anywhere in North America.
Cool. Now, just okay.
Okay.
Talk about needle drops. What's the price range for needle drops?
A needle drop, most people are going to be doing local, regional radio, TV. They're probably going to be doing local, regional radio, TV plus web. There's levels for that. For instance, let's jump up to national.
Mm-hmm.
A national TV commercial is $300 for 1 year. That means that spot with one track for 1 year. Because what's important to know is we're a leased library, we're not a purchase library, we're not royalty free. You're not buying the music, you never own the music. You're paying to synchronize our music with your video content. So it's a synchronization license, not a purchase license. A local radio spot, 13 weeks, one track, one spot, $90. A local radio spot, and you also want it on Spotify, 13 weeks, $150. Regional TV commercial, and you want it on web as well, I think that's $225. You know, so it gets a little higher when you start getting into paid web or YouTube pre-roll.
Okay.
Or what I actually like to call now mid-roll, because so many of those spots now, they got smart. They get you into the video, then they roll the ad, and then they finish it out.
So a lot of us are freelance.
Yes.
And maybe we're going to create a video for a client to put on their website.
Mhm.
It's not going to live there forever,
Right.
but it may be relevant to them for a year or two. What does that look like?
You guys would probably be doing, what, a 2-minute video with one track playing throughout? $200 for 1 year. And that actually gets you their website and their non-paid social media. Because all these companies also have a Facebook page or a Twitter page or something else.
Yeah.
So when you're comparing that to royalty-free music, why would somebody want to use this service? What's the advantage to this?
A much deeper pool of good music. I know a lot of people use premium beats at $50 a hit. And listen, I totally get when somebody's saving money. Because one thing that I realize when I'm talking to somebody like you on the other end of the phone, we're talking about your money. And I get that. The premium beats and a lot of those, the first page, the first couple of pages, that's where they've got their strong stuff. Another reason too is because we have more music. Your client, you might have that client that says they like that premium beat track and they're gonna wear it out, right? A lot of your clients though, they don't want the same track in every spot or every video that you do. So if you've got somebody who's going to do something like that and they're not too picky about the music and you can go cheap, I totally get it. But if you want somebody who wants to be able to say we're going to do a commercial a month, I want a new song every month, and you know I want it fresh, and I want to be able to have new music coming out every quarter. So I mean that's why, just selection.
How about for like a short film? So
Short film, it's interesting. I don't have the sheet with me. But it's so much easier where I am now. We have, one, and just know this. I have autonomy and authority at Atomica that I never had. I understand not all budgets are created equal. I've done 3M projects that they had $1,000 a track, and I've done projects for 3M that they had $200 a track. It's the budget for that project. So what I like to tell people is, I'm going to quote you book rate. If you come back to me and say, Roger, I have 300 for those 2 tracks instead of 400 for this job, I'm gonna do the job. I'm not gonna let something walk. You know, if my rate's 400 and you've got 50 bucks, I can't do that because I can't do that to the composers or to the company. But I want to work with people. I know that not all budgets are equal, and I want to do your next one.
Yeah.
So to me, that's just smart. You know, just to not. I actually lost a job one time for 50 bucks, and I was so angry. I thought, you're kidding me. You know, because 350 is still 350 more than 0.
Yeah.
Which is what we got. And the other thing is that client never called me again because I wouldn't work with them.
Yeah.
Well, now I can. So
all right, so let's talk about like an indie film.
oh, I'm sorry. On my rate card, I have under film. It's all about the budget of the film.
Okay.
But I can also work with you as I have with people on that. They've done an independent doc. It wasn't anywhere near what our under 250,000 from 250 to 5 to $1 million, over $1 million. You know, those are rates. It's also, that's one track. If you're going to do a 90-minute doc and you say, Roger, I'm going to use nobody but you, and I'm going to have 32 tracks, anywhere from a minute to 6 seconds in this thing, let's talk. Let's talk budget. Let's talk what you can do for that.
But because it's not royalty free, how does that work for the lifetime of the film?
Yeah.
Oh, well, your venues have ASCAP BMI licenses.
Okay.
That's really the beauty of it. Like my bosses, a national commercial, we'd love to get book rate. We want to get book rate. But the beauty of a national commercial is NBC, ABC, CBS, ESPN, all of those people, every time they show that commercial and play that music, they have to pay the ASCAP BMI. And that's where the composers keep making money on that music. We license that commercial one time to sync. They get royalties every time it plays. But that's on the backs of whoever's playing it, not on you as the person who produced the commercial for that client.
Okay.
And that's not local or regional. Those are national spots. Local or regional, there's no ASCAP BMI on it.
If it goes to DVD.
Well, do you know that from the beginning? Let's build that in.
Okay.
Are you doing something? I recently licensed a film for a 1 year's worth of film festivals. And this individual knows that if that film gets picked up, that will require new licensing.
Okay.
So why would he only license it for film festivals? There's a ton of them. It's probably not going to get picked up. So why pay for something that may never happen? Most people come to me and the job is such, they know what they need now, but we can always upgrade a license. You can always call me and say, hey, wait, guess what? I do need that second year. Or, yes, now they want DVD up to 50,000. So that's always.
And that is roughly just the number of DVDs produced, not for the lifetime of the DVD format as we know it.
Oh, I mean, once it's licensed for, let's say, DVD for sale up to 50,000 copies, that means you can make 50,000 copies for sale. And, of course, someone buys that DVD, that's licensed in perp.
Got it.
You know, they don't have to come back. Now, if this thing goes crazy and they say, hey, we need to license another 50,000, well, sure, that requires new licensing, and then they have more room to sell.
Very good.
One thing to know, and like I say, you guys are mainly independents, but because I signed a contract yesterday, and the guy that owned the company had one question, and it concerned him and his clients. And he said, okay, we signed a 1-year deal with you. A year from now, we don't renew. And I said, okay, I know exactly what you're going to ask. If you've done TV or radio commercials, those have a shelf life. Now, I can license a TV commercial in perp. You pay a little more, but that commercial can just sit out there forever. But most broadcast advertising has 13-week or 1 year, or, and once again, we can tailor that. Do you need 2? Do you need 3? Do you need 6 months instead of 13 weeks? But if you do corporate video, a DVD training, anything that's not broadcast advertising, if you're in a contract with us and a year later you don't renew that contract, that stuff that you created for that client, it's licensed in perpetuity. You can't revise it. You can't use the music to make new. But anything created during the term that isn't broadcast advertising is evergreen.
Okay.
It's the way it was finished.
Does that include like someone takes the video, they put it on YouTube, and it goes as a link on their website that they play?
If it was licensed for YouTube.
Okay.
Yes.
Or whatever video player that they have
Right,
on their website.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, like I say, that's where you called me with that question, and it's instantly going to bring up more questions.
Right.
You know, what is it used for? Because folks say, well, it's just web. And what's funny is I also ask people when they do web, I say, is it local, regional, or national? Okay, it's web. I can find a car commercial in China on the web. I'm not the intended audience.
Right.
So the world can see it. And of course, local for us is any one market minus New York, LA, Chicago, Houston. They're automatically regional just because of population. Regional for us is any 5, is it contiguous or contiguous? Contiguous states.
Contiguous.
States that touch each other. And then national is anything over that.
Cool. Wow. Okay. Does that bring up any thoughts for anybody? Any questions?
So, play us like your favorite. I mean, I'm curious about. What,
Oh.
I don't know.
Do you have a track or an album
Let's
you
hear
like?
some tracks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just would like to hear one at least. A couple
Oh
of
gosh, that's a real good question.
I am fascinated by the album named. Where was it? First of all, there's Terror.
Terror.
Oh, Electronica Oblongata.
Okay.
That.
I'm only doing this because my boss recently. Oh wait a minute, he probably sent us links to stuff that's going to be out in April. Yeah, it's exactly what he did.
Would anybody mind if I turn the AC on over here?
I can do it. This is Jonathan's AC music.
Yes.
All I can say is God bless
Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Steele.
AC/DC. Open the albums. Let me just see. So many.
It's under new tech.
I've heard.
Very first one.
You just like purple.
You just like
Figured it couldn't be just me.
Take action. Take action.
Oh, that's
Moving forward.
innovative.
new tech.
There you go.
Yep. Synergy.
Exactly.
The S word. Synergy. Oh my God.
That sounds like a rule.
Faster, moving forward. Technology.
Well, but you know,
soaring.
here's the deal.
Every time I go to
We license the heck out of this stuff.
Yeah.
You have to have it.
Corporate video, yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
I've got friends down at Breed Studio downtown, and they had this one kid who's just a tremendous guitar player, and they had to tell him, dude, you're not going for a record deal. Bring it down, play it right, play it steady. You know,
Play it right.
It has to be under the message, because production music, and how many people in here have seen a commercial that you remember the track, and you have no freaking clue what that commercial was for?
Yeah.
Because the music was so much better than the commercial. Well, that music just killed that ad. Because they're not selling music. You and dubstep, man.
Man, yeah.
Look up there.
Also, there I saw synthwave on here a minute ago.
If I may say so, one of the albums I saw among all the available albums, entitled "The Bad Girls of Something," that image, the image on the front of it, makes me really, really, really mad. I can't stand it. So much.
Let's don't go look at it again.
Years ago for First Com, I was the new guy. I wasn't even a sales rep yet. I was the cold caller. So I was the one that did all the web demos. So I had one of the other salespeople there. He took me on a sales call with him to do a web demo for a church. Well, they used to have a playlist on there called Adult Playlist because FirstCom sold a ton of money, music to the Playboy channel. And I finally got them to say, can you change the name of that? Because I had my hand ready on the scroll from the church people. And just as the screen pops up, I'm like, get past the adult playlist. Okay. Because they're like, what's that? Don't worry about it.
That was close.
Let's get back to the music you want. Right? You know, we've had some, I mean, all kinds of great. When I say Southern rock, I don't mean Southern rock. I mean that good, bold rock guitar. Maybe it has a little bit of a swampy feeling, but that's not necessarily Southern rock. That's just that good Southern Gothic. We recently did a piece that was just absolutely gorgeous.
Turn on the AC. Having the swampy feeling.
TMI, Trent. TMI.
Okay, Trent, you've got to search for something else besides this stuff, man. This is
This,
not.
hey, synthwave is where it's at, man.
Corporate pop.
Corporate
Pop.
But you know what's funny about corporate music? Corporate music is everything now. Like I said, from the white lab coat to the Michael Bay movie opening at the beginning of a convention when they're doing walk-on, walk-off.
Do you have Celtic?
Oh, I bet they do.
Celtic?
Yes. I actually
I
always
hope I
need
don't
that.
disappoint
You can
you.
never find it.
Oh man, Joseph Kilkenny's
Start up.
Historic Dublin. What do you think?
Historic Dublin.
Whichever one.
Man, let's do that top.
Danny Boy Light. Celtic Knights.
Celtic Lights just sounds.
Here, get into the piece here. Let's see what it sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Playing this on my D&D Sunday.
Michael Flatley.
This son's an
That's what it looks
aerospace engineer. He's about 3 buddies play every two weeks.
This is just magical.
Like something
We
has
got
no
to
more
get
life
the
to it.
dance in there.
Swords and
Oh, the
sorcery
Highland.
right there.
Oh yeah.
I could have really used those. Anybody have a
Okay, go back up into the albums.
Alright.
I'm a visual person and I remember some of these just because I really dug the artwork. Epic Sports has some of that big, I call it the Mad Max stuff with the taiko drums and the big, you know.
Exception.
I used to call this the Lord of the Rings music. You know, battle time or something.
It does sound like it.
Yeah.
Here, I'll cold pizza.
Did you know that is actually edible? You can do
Cold
that.
Pete, yes, I like Cold Pete.
Not too bad, actually.
And of course, it has to be the guy with the voice that they modulated down about 4 levels. Just kind of shake them. And then you see him, he's like, this is
Yeah,
Cold Pete.
really small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that voice.
If you want to know how to correctly modulate down a voice, just look at how they modulate down Benedict Cumberbatch's voice for Smile in the Hobbit.
Yeah.
That's a great example. It's like the guy, I think he passed away several years ago, and he was that guy that did every movie trailer
In
for
a world.
10 years in the world.
Yeah.
That's right, where people are
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to sell music.
Oh.
You know, it's and he worked out of his home in a little studio that was about 4 feet by 4 feet, insulated like crazy with a microphone. Make it, send it.
Hey, do you have a sounds like library or
Yeah, sorry.
situation?
Okay, let me tell you what we do about that.
Okay.
We do. Send Brian an email and ask for it.
Okay.
No, here's why. I'm going to tell you. We don't have it on the website. You cannot search Coldplay, Beatles, whatever you want to search. We have them. We don't put them on the website.
I was thinking more like zipper.
Because someday, all those folks are going to get their ass sued.
All the people that have the,
Yes, they
the
are.
sounds like.
Someday. We're a smaller library. They can take that hit. So we have them. Brian has an entire database. You send him, say, I want something in the style of X popular artist, X popular song, and he'll send you what we have that's in the library, but you can't search it.
Why would you get sued for that? It sounds like it, but it's not like their song. Is it because you said their name?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, like,
Yeah,
on
you use
FirstCom site, you can punch in
Yeah.
Coldplay
Yeah,
and get stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, because they can afford to get sued. They're massive. They're part of Universal.
Have they already?
No, they have not.
yet.
They don't know
But,
that.
but our two owners, Brian and Scott, have just decided that what's important is to have it and to be have customer service response that you can get what you need. But they're just not going to run the risk being the two owners of this thing, lock, stock, and barrel, of having that chance.
They prefer to keep their shirts and feed their kids.
Well, and what's interesting is, and we get these calls all the time, somebody saying, hey, can you help me license something by the Black Keys? And my answer is no. Well, I mean, that's just not what we do. But I do educate them. Do not contact the Black Keys. Determine who the publisher is. Contact the publisher. That's who has the rights to the music. Sometimes the artist is the publisher. Most times not. But what you have to find is the publisher. Now here's what the Black Keys are good at. Somebody contacts their publisher and says, we want to use song A in something. So then they put their feelers out. And 6 months later, a project turns up as a song that sounds just like their song. And the band goes after it. Because contacting their publisher alerted them that someone wanted something that sounded like their song.
Yeah.
You told a story right here 3 years ago. Yeah, you did.
I hope it was
There
a good
was
story.
A guy that shot a video, corporate video, and in that video, as he's traversing the room, he caught a stock image. A stock image licensed by Getty,
Oh, yeah.
and they didn't board him. And they hit him up for $200 grand and shut his doors. Because of an image that he literally wasn't even about. He just passed over it. But that's a Getty image.
Oh, I didn't know Getty was out for blood like that.
Seriously.
Are you kidding me?
Here's the thing.
Man, they're out of here.
Sometimes they are, sometimes they are, sometimes
He's going to check his edits right
they
now.
are. No, I just mean, sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't.
It's pretty ruthless.
Yes.
It is ruthless. But it's their image,
Yeah.
and it's just not worth it. I belong to the DPA, and we had people on the DPA had a DPA discussion going, no. As long as it's for a nonprofit, you can use any popular song you want. And I went, no, you can't. Don't do that. My former colleague Rick Villa used to say it's probably cheaper to fly the band in and have them perform that track than to license it. And folks, now,
Or also to use it and then get caught using it.
here's the deal. If you put a popular song in your kid's birthday video, you put it on YouTube so your family can see it, they're probably not going to sue you. They're either going to block it or they're going to put a commercial in front of it. But the minute that commercial has a business name attached to it, and I don't care if it's an indie producer's business name, you are now monetizing their music to promote you.
Yep.
What about like soundtrack sound effects, like Zimmer or
Cinematic
Williams
stuff.
or I don't know, something like that?
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I had this argument with my former boss. Not argument, just I could never wrap my head around people that do stuff like Weird Al.
Parodies?
He's one of my faves.
Parodies without permission. And I'm like,
See, how does that work? It's fair use.
they have. I've read the language from the lawyers at Universal. And I thought, okay, this is what the lawyers tell me. I don't see how that's right. It's legal, and I could just never wrap my head around. I mean, I could see if you contact them and they give you permission, and if they do get it in writing, but parodies, you can do those. Of course, now I think it's because you're not using their master,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they own rights to the master.
You're not using their words, so you don't have to pay lyrics.
Right. So,
there's a sound alike issue.
but it's,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, the way it was explained to me with what we used to call them in the stylos. They didn't even like the word sound alike. In the stylo. Because you can't ever get sued for using a Rembrandt song because you want it to sound like the Beatles. Because the Beatles did not invent, nor can you copyright 4-part harmony. You can copyright their melodies and their words,
Yep.
but you can't copyright style.
Right.
So,
It's like,
Hey, have you got some?
cares?
Have you got some psychedelic music?
Why do you ask, Aaron?
But Weird Al, when he did his parodies, he still asked. So how do you get away with parodies?
well, I mean, I get the feeling that Weird Al stuff is completely on the up and up. Because he's going to be selling how many
Here?
units, you know,
Yeah.
whatever it is
There
that
we
he does.
Yeah.
Technicolors.
Yeah.
Fielder, I don't know what his last name, created a parody called Dumb Starbucks. It lasted, the only reason it got shut down was because health code violations. Not even the fact that it was literally the same exact logo except with the word dumb next to it. And the way he got away with it is he established himself as a parody artist before he created it. So he made a bunch of really crappy parody art. Wow. Put it in galleries. Wow. Dumb Starbucks.
There you go. All right. Any other questions for Roger?
I think so.
I will encourage all of you to check out the site because what we have heard tonight is not indicative of everything we have on the site.
Tons and tons of synthwave, guys.
Classical,
I
rock,
need that Celtic.
country,
Yeah, I get
vocal,
Celtic up there.
jazz. Got some great jazz. We found out the other day that Seinfeld sits in the studio during the music selection. He is in on every piece of music selected for that show, which I just thought was crazy.
Well,
And you're watching Aaron's Real Times.
are you streaming this?
Yes, I'm streaming this.
So how much is
Pieces.
Trent
This is
going
a
to have to
TCA
pay
in
for
memoriam.
streaming all these samples?
Your host.
I love this.
This is promotional
You're not
opportunities.
charged for $200,000.
They'll charge Atomica for this. It's Atomica promotional.
There you go.
We'll pay our own internal demo fees.
Right. All right.
Scary do scary
Oh.
next.
Hold on. Stems.
Stems, some of the tracks will have stems on site. They will show up in the edit box if they're online.
Okay.
That's mainly the newer stuff.
Okay.
The older stuff, it's another email to Brian to see if they're available, and if they are, he'll get them for you just as fast as he can.
That's cool.
So, he's in Henderson, North Carolina.
So he's an hour ahead at least.
Yeah.
He'll get it to you in the future.
The other
There you go.
co-owner is Scott Meath, who lives up in Denton. I live in North Dallas, and we recently had a change of reps. We had a rep in Florida who left, and we now have the other sales rep is up in Keller, actually. So now there's 3 of us right here in Dallas. When they contacted me, I did my due diligence, checked out the website, looked at some stuff, and I talked to Brian, and I said, so I see an address in Dallas, where's your office? He said, oh, we're incorporated in Dallas for tax reasons. We work from home, and he went there.
That's pretty good.
I mean, my commute wasn't bad. My commute was 16 miles each way, but I was on the tollway 635 and 35.
Yeah.
So after
Yeah.
2.5
Now you're
years,
just in your PJs.
So after 2.5 years of going through 635 construction, beating my car to death, and about a month of them being done,
You were started ordering from
Then
home.
they started on buying to 35 so, for the next 3 years. So,
Well,
Congratulations.
yeah. I just told folks my commute went from 16 miles each way to 17 steps downstairs.
That's me.
All right. Well,
Excellent, thank you.
thank you, Roger.
thank you all. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Let's see. What can we do to play him out?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
not dubstep.
Horns.
Just
Foreign.
Hip-hop
Funky Town,
horns.
Funky Town. What's that?
What is that?
Is that beat funky?
There we go.
What's Mac Daddy?
Yeah, Roger Keeler, everybody.
one thing I want you to find.
What's that?
Put in gospel. Yes, 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 yes. I know I'm not going to remember the title of this. Oh gosh, what was the album? Okay, now click on this picture right here for gospel.
Here?
Yes, because then that'll take us to the album. Okay. Play that. Let me start it.
Not what I expected.
Wow. Oh, that's
Oh, that feels very simple.
It's a pretty.
This is Easter.
I felt that one coming.
Easter coming.
You want it? This one here. This is absolutely gorgeous. We will prevail. I did. He sent us some links. Great vocals, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, yes.
Let me see. Move ahead a little bit, just a. You're gonna hit the drop. Okay, go to Rain Down. These were from several months ago. There's one of these that it was just beautiful. I fell in love with it. I mean, I listen to music from A to Z, but I wish I could sing. My mother could sing. My mother was a professional singer, and I'm the guy that hangs out with musicians. I'm a drummer, so
greatly to be praised.
yeah, there's that too.
Let's worship.
Have you got Cup Out Fount? Yeah, I've Cup Out Fount.
No. Anyway, I just remember this. Just some of those
That should be.
male and female vocals were just fantastic.
Yeah.
Vocals. So.
That's probably not copyrighted anymore.
It's got to be what, 75 years old?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Do you know what's interesting? Is one of the classical composers, I can't think now who he was, that I was school was in.
It's still in copyright?
Yeah,
You thought he was in public,
domain.
but he's not?
And the guy only died like 50 years ago. And I just assumed he was one of those composers from the early 1800s, 1850s or something. Yeah. And he was 1900s. So.
Very good.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Roger.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate the opportunity, guys. And,
Yeah, man.
you've got my card. Any other questions? Hit me up with an email or a phone call. Be happy to talk to you. Did some business this week with Ramsey Ruelis,
Oh, very good.
who is now at RBMM.
Very good. Yeah.
And,
Ramsey. Some of you may know that.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was part of our group
Yeah.
for a long time.
I met him at the meeting here 3
Okay,
years
good.
ago. He called me about 3 weeks ago. RBMM is a subdivision of the Richards Group.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he called me and he said, "Roger, I got a real job with insurance." So I remember meeting him here. Just super nice guy.
That's
So
pretty good.
once again, guys, you've got my cards. Give me a shout. Let me know if there's anything we can do for you. Know that I will work with you on rate. I understand being independent, working for yourself, or even if it's just a small shop. We get it. So
Very cool.
Alright.
thank you very
All
much.
right. Thank you, Roger.
Take care.
I'm gonna let
And
Tim
God
get you
bless.
set up, and then I will Roger out. Awesome.
Tim, you take it over?
I'm taking over.
Uh-oh.
We'll see how it works. I don't know. I've been working on a PC for a while, so This is gonna feel like all thumbs.
First things first, make like 6 untitled projects for me.
Yeah. All right, so here we
There's
go.
a house there. I'm gonna try that.
You know,
I'm confident this is
I'm
gonna be
gonna
good.
see how we do with the
Those
the
tablets
pad,
are pretty
pen too.
good.
It's been a while since I've used one of these too. Yeah. So where are we? March. Okay. I'm pushing all the buttons here, getting the. I even you can see my .kys. That's my keyboard shortcut file for Premiere if we get into that. So we'll see. Because I have, I've worked with in the past. We were on Avid, and so now I'm using mostly Premiere. So I've got some shortcuts that I use once on Avid that now I'm, using Premiere.
I thought we had an extra.
All right. Original file. Change, that's fine.
I know what that acronym means online.
Project using fonts that are, whatever.
I know what that acronym means online.
It's kind of an unfortunate file format name.
Yeah, it is.
What's that?
The KYS.
Ha ha.
Oh, look at this.
Okay, here we go.
That's beautiful.
Dude, and it's all linked up. I don't even need to. All right. Okay. Cool. So, and this means his Red Giant plugins are same version as the ones that I was using. So, very cool. All right. So I went in and just got a bunch of images and stuff off of pixabay.com, which is free stuff, just for examples here. Let's see. We'll just do like a 720p. Let's go like 20. Yeah.
Man, do I love 4K.
Let's call this UG dash, I don't know, Red Giant Universe dash 1. There we go.
Maybe you could call it DAEUGBONE.
B-O-N-E.
Smadeu Bone.
Did
So,
you also get the trap code suite as well? We should go over that sometime if we haven't yet.
no, I actually, it's been about a year ago at this group. I won, it was just Red Giant Universe. And so, actually, literally, I'm 2 days within my subscription expiring. So this meeting is just in time.
So is Red Giant Universe like a subscription to everything they have?
It is just the.
It's like all the filters, right? It's like a bunch of color things.
Yeah,
LUTs
there's presets, there's transitions.
Does it come with a really awesome glitch? No, VHS.
Yeah, there's tons of there we go.
I was
Captain Marvel.
checking out the stream
Good,
and
good.
realized that when you go back
Where
to
are
After
we?
Effects, we have to change
What do we gotta do?
change over the settings.
So universe, transitions, effects. Their website really has great explanation of all the. You can actually go through each and every. It's a ton of tools.
I think VHS is my favorite one.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Glitch is a close second. But
Yeah.
VHS is just incredible.
So
Isn't it though?
since there's so many, I just wanted to go through like 6 or 7 of them that I've found really useful for the stuff that I've done. Because there's some interesting ones. One of the cool things about it too is that these work in both After Effects and Premiere. So and Avid too. So yeah, that's you've got some great cross-platform stuff going on.
All right, here's my big question.
What's that?
Do you have to pay?
You have to pay. It is a subscription-based service. They just recently upped their price to $199 a year.
But if you're a student, you can get a discount. And if you do it shop
So
during
there
Christmas, you can get an even bigger discount.
Yeah, so watch for it being on sale.
Do you like the pen or the mouse?
I'm gonna go with the
I
pen.
did it on
All right.
You guys always buy a new script. Christmas time.
So, all right, let me get effects here. So
Your email address will get you the discount.
once you install Red Giant Universe, they're in the in your effects palette here, nicely organized with an RG in front of it there. So RG Universe. It's got several different categories here. So I kind of pre-created some comps here with some cool stuff, so I can kind of see what. There we go. All right. I'm not going to get that complicated on this yet, but okay. So first thing we'll do is we'll just I want to show you the prism displace, which is kind of a cool, funky effect that they have. And what it does is you can actually define what area of your image gets warped and everything. So just as a simple example here, we'll go here. Let's kind of scale this down a little bit and reposition it. And we're going to say that this is a really hot cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And so it's important to pre-compose this image here. We'll just call it coffee pre-comp. And move the attributes and hit OK. Okay, and then so then we're going to create a new. Get used to this. We're going to create a new solid.
If you do control the control key, it'll bring up
Oh,
the
the
contextual menu.
Gotcha. So we'll hit OK, and we will, in our effects, we'll go with some radio waves here, and put that on here. We'll make our producer point right on that hot cup of coffee there. So let's just kind of see what we got here. We're gonna make the so this yeah, the prism displace effect works on grayscale values. So kind of a darker gray is what we're gonna make this. We're gonna make this fatter so we can see it. Like something like that. And we want to make it nice and smooth, so we'll go with like the bell. And
who's learning things for the first time about radio waves today?
And how they emanate from coffee? Or what?
No, like the softness.
So yeah, there's a couple of different. You can make it triangle, sawtooth out, which is kind of nice. It gives it that crisp outer edge. Let's go full.
Yeah, you know what?
Let's push this.
I wasn't sure if I knew that or not.
Boom!
Come on.
Tim drop in.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so I actually use this in a different application of what I'm showing you here, but the principle is still the same. I used it to make audio sound waves, basically. But
It kind of looks like the coffee is your standalone JBL speaker or something.
Something like that. There you go. Exactly. So we're gonna go I want to make it nice and fat here, so I'll,
Feed it lots of donuts.
there you go. Yeah, make it nice and thick there, and then we will pre-compose that. Move all the attributes. Okay, and so now we've got our 2 layers there, and so what's that? So I can't remember which red giant prism displacement. There we go. So you're gonna put that on the layer you want to distort, and when you first put it on, it's gonna look funky.
I don't even know why we needed the radio waves.
And so yeah, exactly. So
I love it.
Here you go. Source. For this instance, we want alpha pre-mult with gray, and the displacement source we want to be the black solid. Solid. So that's the default is based on luminance, but just do the alpha pre-mult with gray in this case. And you know, you've got a pretty cool effect there, and you know, you can tweak how much it displaces it, and you know how.
Wait, you put that on the colors. You put that on the image layer though.
I did, yeah. I put so you put the. Whoops.
How are you doing it?
You on the image layer, you put the prism displays, but then you set what the source is to be that our radio waves, basically.
That is
cool.
something.
Do me a favor.
What can I do for you?
Double click on that, or open up that radio waves column, and duplicate that solid. Take all the effects off.
You want me to hide the other one behind it?
Command E. Boom, all the
Oh,
effects.
look at that.
Wow.
So now that
dropped
it
it.
works now.
Effects. Put a fractal noise on there.
Save it. That's the obsessive compulsive save
That's
there.
good. Put a fractal noise on there.
Oh, Trent's gonna.
All right, I'm digging it.
Trent's getting
I'm
fractal
liking
noise.
where you're going with this.
Yeah.
There's a really
This
great
is gonna look cool.
Red Giants tutorial that uses this.
Scroll up.
It's the quick tricks.
Oh.
uh,
Hold on there.
a fracture in time, or they were doing like a scene from the movie,
Second one down. There you go.
from the Disney movie, Wrinkle in Time.
And
Bring one time.
Yeah.
I stopped watching.
Make it.
But they show you how to create the effect
contrast
that was in that movie using this effect.
and
I
a
stopped
little
watching
ghost
these
bright.
Red Giant
There you
tutorials.
go. Okay, now I'll go back.
I hadn't gotten around to it lately. I need to.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, so that's interesting. Go back to the fractal.
Yeah, there's some key
Change
frames
it
in that
to
movie.
instead of basic up there, change it to like strings. And who uses the tab key for the tiny, what's it called? Workflow?
Yeah, it's workflow something or other.
Oh.
The notes,
Yeah, I was introduced to that,
notes.
and I never went back.
Yeah. Just make sure all you guys know about that.
Indeed.
One more thing, if you don't mind.
What can we do for you?
Instead of strings,
Mhm.
do dynamic, invert, and make it big. So under transform, scale it up.
How big?
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Good. Pretty exciting. So now, within this too, you can adjust displacement map levels and stuff. You can spend a long time playing with all of this. So
That's free.
there's some,
Maybe potentially get some interesting looking rain.
yeah.
Get the
Yeah.
Oh, does it? I think it's displacing the blacks. Go in and do in that pre-comp.
Let me reset these here.
You're good. You're good. In the pre-comp, just put a tint on there and set the blacks to gray. 50% gray.
Oops.
All right. So yeah.
So yeah, there's some
Cool stuff.
definite interesting stuff that we can
Yeah,
do
let's
with
see that
that.
thing.
So.
Evolve.
Put up. Put up. Eve right now.
Are these heavy? Are these Red Giant presets, are they heavy?
Kind of. It depends. It kind of depends on which effect. And I will be honest. If it crashes, usually it's because of one of these plugins.
Oh no.
But I find that actually more in Premiere than in After Effects. After Effects seems to run them really well. But Premiere, it seems to lag a little more. Earlier too, I did an experiment here too, where kind of basically I took my radio waves, made it a 3D layer, rotated it to match the image, and then just did a quick, very
cool,
very quick thing there. So there's a lot of possibilities with an effect like that.
Possibilities are limited.
Something like that, yeah.
To your CPU.
They're limited to the subscription that you're doing.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we'll do another one.
That's really pretty though.
We need some of that Atomica psychedelic music.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
All right. So just do two here. Close some of these other ones out here. All right, open that back up. All right, so what do we want to show you next? All right. So,
Ooh, don't put
on this one,
bulb in the sky.
I just found a cheesy, PNG here, and this chromatic glow is so cool looking to me. It makes everything look good. So that's definitely one that I've used a lot.
Put the chromatic glow on the Dallas skyline.
Let's do it.
Put that
Let's there we go.
Is it just default like that?
Yeah, that's the
that's easier than splitting all the channels.
Whoa.
Yeah. Putting that on my new music video.
Like foggy night.
pretty cool.
Radiation.
Now, so the other cool thing
Video.
about these Red Giant effects are
Sounds like a nice preset.
you've got you can bring up these nice preset windows,
This would go amazing with particular.
and so we can let's say we like this one, we'll apply it. So pretty cool. Rainbow gleam. Apply.
Whoa. Dude, keep that rainbow.
Did they?
No, leave that one. Leave that one.
Cool.
And scrunch it in a little bit. Can you make the glow not go quite so far?
Let's see, where are we? Whoa.
Well, that's
Okay, we've got the split. There we go. There.
kind of
Looks like a postcard to me.
Man, that's looking cool.
That's awesome.
Girl, that's so,
So-
cool.
So that's probably really the best thing about Red Giant Universe is how quickly you can get really cool looks to your footage and to to logos.
You could get the same effect if you just spent some time, but like it would probably take you.
So I guess if
Like
you
an
just
hour.
drag that crosshair around, you can
Yeah.
do it any direction, right?
Yeah.
But then this is just like
Is that what that is?
one click.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I guess not. I don't know.
I didn't know what that crosshair was for.
It's a good
Yeah,
question. I don't know.
It's actually
Because that's how like trap
You're
food
gonna think
shines.
really nicely have a whole
Yeah.
universe thing in my work. My old work.
Well, there's so many, there's so many effects and presets and transitions that you could, I'm only going to show like 7 of them here, and you could. I mean, I could have made the whole presentation just on their transitions too. So. All right, so this is another cool one here, and this is Holomatrix. So I just took, another cheesy PNG from Pixabay and the Holomatrix, and
I'm feeling it.
That's unbelievable.
Oh.
isn't that cool? Very
Man,
Star Wars.
please let that laptop not be our only.
Yeah. So, so recently, in one of our internal company videos, I actually we had our CEO on a green screen, and suddenly he became part of the empire.
And look, it even has.
So yeah,
They know what they're doing.
yeah.
That is cool.
Clone Warrior,
Outside.
Empire.
Look at
Yeah.
the names.
Oh,
Exactly.
Come on, man. I want
Going
terrible
Is
road.
that Prometheus?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, there you go. The glitch one.
I love this.
This is so cool.
Oh, that's funny.
And you're gonna make
pretty
me spend
cool.
$200, dang it.
I know.
Just to play with the
It's only for a year.
Yeah, that's for that. So it's a continual.
Is there a lifetime
Cost.
option that's like really expensive, or is it only subscription?
It's only subscription. Yeah.
want
I even
Yeah,
called him on the phone the other day, trying to am I grandfathered in because I was when it was only $99 a year, but no.
Oh, really?
They're all like, no.
So yeah, that one's a lot of fun.
It was interesting when they launched this. It was my impression that they were kind of trying to see if they could go like the Creative Cloud model, with their plugins. And the way that they kind of advertised it was that they'd be adding new plugins all the time and like trying to kind of convince people to go to like a subscription model where you buy in and you get new stuff on a regular basis and upgrade things. But and at the time I thought, I wonder if they're going to be taking their suite of plugins, like the Red Giant suite and Trap Code, and rolling it into it. So I wonder if maybe they didn't get as much buy-in as they expected, so they kind of kept those separate. But it's still, I think it's still, rather than paying $1,000 for the suite, it'd be a great alternative if to do a subscription model like that. Although I think they do have. I think you can get like the full suite and subscription model now for like $800 a year. You get all the Red Giant plugins, all the trap code, everything.
You can get all the upgrades as long as you're still paying.
Yeah.
800 a year.
Yeah.
All right, so we all know the After Effects lens flare. It's it's limited, but this is probably if I do resubscribe to Red Giant Universe, it is I forget what it's categorized under, but
Is it going to be because of the null lens flare?
it's the null lens flare, man. It is fantastic. There are so many wonderful presets here.
This is in universe.
This is in universe,
Okay.
and
also easily attach like a
It used to be
null
more
or something that's already on the screen, or just have it read the lights that are already
maybe this is a stripped down version because they go easy.
From J.J. Abrams.
So I mean,
So
you know,
put
fully
can
animatable.
you can put a comp light in, right?
You want a comp light?
There's something I use. I thought
Where are we?
would be able to follow a
New
comp light.
light.
J.J.
Yeah, the video
Abrams.
co-pilot.
Like optical flares?
That's what it was.
Optical flares.
Okay.
That
will
works
look
off
at
the lights.
Mm.
J.J. Abrams, the man wants
Yeah, I
to
don't know if
blind
it-
his
I haven't-
audience.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't tried to dig that deep into it, but
Let's see.
point light. You good on that, or
Yeah, just click on your
You got
layer.
You gotta turn 3D to get to react.
Have you ever noticed that J.J. Abrams just seems to want to blind his audience?
Does.
Where do we go? Try location tracker. Location there.
Huh. Maybe it doesn't.
I think at some point I saw that it did,
Maybe with
but
the source.
at the very least,
Look at the source drop down. What does that say? Next to
where are we
location
talking?
layer. It says
source.
Oh,
That's just
oh,
the
just the
oh,
effects.
okay.
man.
All right. So because we can't do it meeting without having expressions,
All right.
click on option click on the light location.
Yeah.
It's about halfway down
Was parent
up there.
to the
Yeah,
parent.
light location,
There we go.
and do this is from Dan Ebert's. We're gonna do capital L space equals space, and then pick whip the light, the point light layer. No, start. You gotta go from the
Oh, my bad.
expression.
Yep.
Just click in your expression field over there. There we go. Get to the end and pick whip from that to the light. Okay, now do a semicolon. And new line. Do L, shift L, capital L, dot, 2, T-O, and then capital C comp. And then in parentheses, you'll do capital L dot anchor point with capital P. And then close parentheses and hit enter and then now we figure out what's going on. One to say. Property or method named anchor point. Instead of that, just do instead of L dot anchor point, do inside the parentheses do brackets. So open bracket 0, comma 0, comma 0. And then close bracket, close parentheses. You can see that it follows the light.
Oh, so which probably has
Something like that.
Recount the image, maybe. But the-
Is the image big? That's the.
yeah.
Kind of follows a lot.
Oh yeah, the image is bigger than the comp
Do
size.
you think you have
so-
to do it to the world then?
Do
Just recount that image.
or
Don't move the effects.
select the image and do layer up the top.
Oh.
Do layer, transform, fit to comp width or height. No, it's not gonna do it. Undo. And pre-comp applied to egg says. Maybe not.
When you leave all the attributes in there, I don't think it actually. You'd have to copy or cut the expression.
Yeah.
Pre-comp it.
And then paste
Bring
the
all the
expression back
attributes.
on there.
Paste the expression or paste the effect back on there, not the expression.
Just
So-
select that effect and hit Command X, yeah. Actually, undo until you get your layer back.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Now, E.
What's that?
E.
Oh, yeah.
Select it. Command F. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Now
pre-comp it.
And we want to
Move all.
Move them. Okay.
Okay. Now paste.
There we go.
There it is.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Good job.
There you go.
I'm impressed.
Oh, now I'm impressed.
There you
All right, JJ.
So
How's
what?
that obscuration? Is that pretty? Does that work pretty well?
Ooh. Hey, I have a suggestion.
Haven't done that. Okay.
Oh man.
What's your suggestion?
Here we go. Obscuration layer.
All right.
Okay. Select your layer that you just pre-comped
Mm-hmm.
and right click it and reveal in project.
Has anybody seen my eyes?
Yeah. J.J. Abram has them. Duplicate it. And call it, like instead of comp 2, call it matte or something like that. Alright, so now open it up. Oops. Hey.
Are you gonna have him cut the skyscraper out?
Yes!
Yeah, that's what I was gonna, yeah.
So just do a quick mask on there.
Yeah, I was just gonna do a.
How about a key light?
Oh, sure.
Or yeah. Maybe this will work. I don't know. Maybe it's a stretch.
Beautiful.
So if
Fuck,
you go
put a lot
to
of
the
confidence
final
in
result, go to screen map. It's about halfway. And in screen map, you can adjust clips. Yeah, adjust your black there, and then adjust your white up.
That's probably good enough for our purposes.
Trent.
Hey.
At the next meeting, do you think you could go over some tips to how to get really, really, really good keys with Keylight?
I'm not sure I can get you really, really, really good tips, but I might be able to get you like one really good tips.
Part of it is just
Oh, yeah,
how
does
it's
this-
filmed.
Hey, does
Yes,
Universe
we,
come with Primate or Primate or whatever?
Primate. Let's see.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, bummer.
There's a new key cleaning feature in 2019 that
Just
will clean up
just
your
go to
keys.
Get rid of key light and do
You won't even have to
quick
try that
mask.
first key light.
I wish I could have 2019.
But really, it's just how it's filmed. You have to have a really properly lit green screen for it to work.
No shadows, no nothing like that.
Alright.
And then your actor should have a backlight too.
Yeah.
Drop that guy in there.
Hope you're working for a professional. They'll do all that stuff.
That.
There we go. Let's select.
You could also just bring one of the portable ones outside and get a bounce light, just direct the sun onto
All right,
the
where are we
back,
going with
and
this?
then the sun
There.
onto the green screen.
Just
normally.
Actually, I think you just turn it off. Select
It's worse than trying
that,
to
yep,
people's
and do
on-set
under
mistakes.
obscuration layer.
There we go.
Select
Yeah.
that. Choose that matte, and then drag.
Yeah.
Drag
You
it
can
across.
clean it
Let's
up.
see if it works.
You can hide some mistakes with a light
Yeah.
wrap. There's a couple of different techniques to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, look it up, light wrap on After Effects.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of works.
Yeah, it's
15.
Something like that.
That's gorgeous.
Is that somewhat
Do you
is
need
that part of the
to,
building somewhat transparent?
What about
Possibly. Let's.
what about the source?
Bring it lower down in the sky.
Obscuration layer.
On that. Oh, obscuration type.
Oh, alpha.
Alpha.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ooh.
Now it should.
There we
That's
go.
cool. That's awesome.
And yeah, it has some
There you
like
go.
dithering too when you get close to it.
So set a keyframe there.
Now it's real J.J. Abrams got an alien. Or a comment.
Yeah, a little flickery there. Something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Comment?
Comment?
What do you mean by that? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I think
Jeremy,
pronounced it funny.
don't correct his scientific terms.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Be right back.
Do the inverse there. There we go. So, in addition to just the null light factory here, there's also a null light transition, which is just I use more in Premiere than in After Effects, but in fact it might be.
Oh, like light sweeps and stuff.
Yeah. So. So let's turn off the factory effect here. And where are we? So and you can control the angle and the brightness and where it starts and all kinds of cool stuff.
In space, no one can hear you scream, "Stop blinding us, J.J. Abrams!"
So it's basically a lens flare with the alpha that follows.
Yeah, yeah. And in Premiere, it works just like a cross-dissolve transition.
Oh, so if you have transition B turned on, then
So, yeah.
alpha, yeah.
So, let me, here.
I thought it just
Take a look here at, so if we had, so, yeah, it's pretty nifty. Not only do you get the light factory, but you get the transition, which is pretty awesome.
Teleport.
All right, and then let's see, let's do another. And now this one, let's see, there's a ton of sort of things that work really well as font treatments. So we'll just do a solid here, and we'll make it kind of a cool lime pale green, deep turquoise solid.
Delicious.
Deep Windows 3.1.
There you go. And we'll get some text here, and we'll do DAEUG.
Make it,
All right, let's do that.
make it a little promo for us.
There you go. Yeah. I don't know what font we want. We want a really big, fat, good-looking font here.
Arial black.
Rush script.
That's not gonna work. Yeah, we'll go with impact. Everybody uses impact, right? Make it big. So,
Who's a good day you get?
Just, it's option. There we go. Getting used to the difference between Mac and PC. That's all.
Mac, guys. Tim, Mac is a PC.
I'm telling you, I've been trying to figure out the shortcuts because I've switched over to Mac at my new work.
Yeah.
And it's literally, nope.
You're right. Yeah.
Jujutsu with my hand over here, trying
Yeah.
to figure out what it's supposed to be.
I so hope I never have to use a Mac.
Oh, you would love it.
So, I don't mind it once I am used to it, but if I have to switch back and forth,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
hard to
way too confusing. All right, so the first one I'll show you here is luster, and pretty nice right off the bat there. Purple, there you go.
Drop one on there, and everybody goes,
Yeah, so
Dude, that's awesome.
So these are
Some-
layer styles.
some pretty cool stuff, yeah, and
You get some like serious Microsoft Word vibes from these.
yeah,
Right.
so you've got some nice,
But
nice control here.
It reminds me of
Uh,
an old font
some of them have a
called
different,
High Noon.
So yeah, it's nice because it automatically adds the drop shadow and the beveling and the reflective kind of stuff all in one step, and it's really nice.
But is this only for text treatments, or have you ever applied it to a video?
Or shape layer.
Or shape layer.
No, I mean you could apply it to a shape layer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's make a star. Oh yeah.
Some good graphic design.
There you go. Come on now. Now, one thing about it though is, if you're not pre-comping and everything, you do want to
a text layer, and wondering if the shape layer does. It looks at the entire bounds.
Exactly. It's like he's dragging that shape layer down.
The now the text layer does too.
Yeah.
And so that is something you need.
Can you make it so it follows it around, or is that always how it's
Expression.
You'd probably
pre-comp it.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Or
I don't know if there's a.
Just move the text inside for pre-comp.
Yeah, but if you have the text animating to different places, right?
Yeah.
But then would it give you grief when you're rasterizing? We got to do.
If you continuously I would give you grief if you did that. So if you pre-comp.
I think you're probably right about continuously rasterize. If you, we can try it out. Hit
Let's see.
hit your text layer and pre-comp it. And then scale it up. So go back into that pre-comp. Cut the effect off of it. So now move the layer around.
Boom.
There you go.
A little better. Yeah.
Do a different preset so you can see better.
Yeah.
On the shape layer, were you moving it around in the shape layer space or the actual comp space?
I was moving in the comp space, but that's a good question as far as.
I think it'll do
content.
the same
This is
way.
why I don't like shape layers.
Shape layers are the best.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Once you're used to
Shape layers
them,
are the best.
you'll change your mind once you get used to
No,
them.
stop talking. Shape layers are the best.
They are.
I'm used to it.
No,
Sorry.
no.
I'm not cool with
Reverse
this
back.
anymore.
Back.
Anyway.
Send it back.
One time I tried moving a bunch of shape layers, like adding the keyframe automatically to all of them by just moving them all down. Doesn't work. You gotta explode that shape layer out.
It works.
It
It didn't
works.
work. Although it was in 2018, so I don't know. I just wanted to offset all of the meat inside of the taco and make all the meat fall into the taco separately. But it would not work. It would all fall at the same time. Unless I manually
Have you ever?
There's an option where you can do it individually too.
I'll have to show you. It's too hard to explain.
Let's get you up on the computer over here
Yeah, I'll pop in there a little bit.
and convince us.
All right. So.
You really set Mary off over there.
Sorry, Mary.
Mary can't concentrate anymore.
Hey, I love Overlord though. Don't get me wrong.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Was if you wanna,
If I have
you
ESL and
enjoy-
Overlord, I'm a-okay.
yeah, because it can make your.
And
That one.
then there's
Yeah.
good old long shadow.
Doing cool.
And I mean, just simple way to achieve this effect.
The old long shadow.
Yep. You know,
That's cool.
you can animate it, do all that kind of fun stuff.
Go through a day cycle.
So, what's that?
Go through a day cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After Effects all day long.
Yeah.
I will say, if you don't want to buy the whole universe package, there is, I think it's from FX Plugin Factory or whatever on AE scripts. They have this exact same effect.
Also, Mikey Borup has a tutorial on how to get this. It is a multi-step process.
Vince on Win
but
has
it's great.
Vince on Win also has a tutorial that simplifies it a lot. And,
Okay.
it's pretty good too, but it's several steps.
Yeah.
This is
Versus just flip, put it on, and
These guys
be done. Okay, and then all right, so we need a new solid again here, and this one we want to be real dark kind of color here because we want this to show up real nicely. Doesn't matter where it is. Just moving down the line here. And go ahead and duplicate my text layer here, move it up, and holding shift to snap to the snap to the beginnings and the ends of the clips, and then left bracket to move that layer over, and I'm gonna delete long shadow there. The other one I was going to do was the point zoom, and that is under glow, and boom. So this one's pretty fun, and if you get like let's say we do a gradient ramp on there. You can do a start color bright red, and you can see that the projection there is also changing color with what the layer looks like there. So that up. So in fact, we'll do sort of a right to left thing so you can see it better. So that's kind of fun. You can play with the on the point zoom. Oh, here we go. Yeah. On that, you can play with intensity and length, which is kind of fun.
Oh my god,
There's a
really
lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Change the blend mode.
You can change the blend mode to add. That kind of depends on what you're looking for there. One really cool fun thing that I did with this was I took my position of my text layer and is it option to get expressions? There we go. Wiggle and do like a 1 and I don't know, like a pretty big wiggle here, like 90, so we can see it. And you kind of have this fun, but the point is staying in the same spot.
What if you rotate that? Will the point kind of twist along with it, or?
What I want to know
That's kinda
is,
fun.
can you do
Yeah.
some max
Okay,
headroom
that does a
type
little
stuff?
bit. Yeah, that does a little bit.
So I don't know. But you can also set your position on where you're projecting from and everything. And I will show you another cool use for it. We'll take that cheesy laptop image. Come on now. And we'll scale it down here some, and we'll pre-compose it. And we want to, that. And then we'll add that point zoom again. There it is. And now we can, move
Kind of looks like a projector.
look like a little screen projection kind
Or
of
like there's
thing,
some
you know.
light on it.
So and you can mess with the length. So
Wow.
there's some good possibilities and all that too. So
I'm totally envisioning one of them scenes in a movies where somebody's like soul is getting sucked into the TV.
Yeah.
I see that every night when I close my eyes.
Please say no.
So that kind of covers the main parts of universe that I wanted to.
Very cool.
Can you
Go
very
off.
quickly throw VHS on something?
Absolutely,
Put
that is a
put
good one.
VHS over top of all that stuff you just did with the big mouth.
Ooh,
I would seriously like to. I would seriously like to know if you
wrong
could do.
wrong search bar there.
I would seriously like to know if you could do max headroom type stuff.
I'm not sure I know what max headroom is.
Oh, you mean that glitchy type? thing where-
Any-
Max headroom?
What is max headroom?
Anybody who remembers that.
Are you serious, Tim?
Yeah. What
You have to YouTube it.
It
was like a show,
TV show.
yeah, like an MTV show back in the day.
Oh,
Maybe you're like
He did
Yeah.
Coca-Cola
Yeah.
commercials too.
Your mom wouldn't let you watch it.
probably not.
It's definitely late 80s because they referenced it on Back to the
Back to the
Future
Future
2
Part
and
2,
90s,
yeah.
So.
Yeah. But he just instead of glitchy, it kind of repeats himself over, stutters and repeats. Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what you mean.
And it
Wasn't he supposed to be like an AI or something?
Yes.
Yeah, and it had this guy who looked like he was computer generated, and he was in a spinning cube room of some kind, and he was basically supposed to be like an AI talk show host personality.
There you go. Got all kinds of different VHS treatments
So
here.
cool,
I watched how they made this, and they're like, we just took apart VHS after VHS and studied them for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
And like, we sent AI on them and made them learn how they did the patterns and
That's cool.
Totally.
VHS tapes in the microwave. I cannot speak today. VHS tapes.
Ooh. Just the default is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as you can see, it is a pretty heavy effect, so it takes a while to render.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Wait,
Oh, you're talking about from the Quentin Tarantino movies?
It works really well with these.
That's nice, yeah.
That's cool.
Yes!
That's cool.
That's like an 80s promo now.
Yeah. My son wanted he did some video for school and he wanted to look at VHS, and so I went out and watched a bunch of YouTube videos on, and you get like turbulent displays and do different things. Run little masks across it where it'll kind of shift, like part of it will shift up like that. Then but a few tutorials can get to the same look if
There you go.
like.
You get more than VHS too. You have like
No, those are really cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of stylized.
Look at all those chromatic aberrations or whatever. Gosh, it's terrible looking.
on the tape style. You can also get like VHS. You can get Betamax. You can get
Yeah.
All the codecs.
Did you just call them codecs?
Yeah.
VCR.
All right.
U-matic. Blank tape.
Okay, you got. Who knows what
Yeah.
the other way to talk about U-matic is?
3/4 inch.
Very good.
Mm.
I worked at a TV station.
I can
Oh, man.
hear that phrase right now.
U-matic. Oh, and the movie guy is Don LaFontaine. That was the name of the. Remember that?
Yeah.
World guy.
Oh yeah.
Don
He had a lot of teeny tiny mustache.
Trent,
Yes, sir.
just one more possible suggestion.
What's that?
Do you think that maybe next time we could look at how to create the Eye of Sauron?
Wow.
misfire.
Do you want to research it and figure out how to do it, or do you want somebody here to do it?
I'm just thinking it'd
And
be
you show up and learn.
I'm just thinking it'd be really good, really cool, and really good for it to be a meeting for all of us to see and go through it. Because wow, that's some cool stuff.
All right, we have a trap show. I bet you could do it with trap show.
Who wants to do that?
I have a plugin I
You want to
would.
do? We can do like. Do you have After Effects? Okay. We could do a.
You can't play here if you don't.
Like how many different ways? How many different ways can we figure out how to do it? I am giving away Universe tonight.
Okay.
So I don't know if you can use it on your system.
Well,
I'll
live
help
and
you.
learn.
Take it.
Might
I'll
be
help you.
Well, live and learn.
Might be able to.
If you win it, maybe you can gift it to somebody.
Hey Tim, you
Okay.
could win it again and just keep on trucking.
Yeah.
with it.
Just in time.
Who are your connections over at Red Giant that you can still give us away?
I'll
Yeah,
remember
what's their
the
phone
ones.
number?
Really? Oh, I thought he was doing something else.
He's still there.
I would. Wait, what was his name?
I know.
Aaron or
I'll take it on his behalf with
When
the
did you win it?
I'm in a Discord
I was here.
online chat thing with a guy who works at Red Giant. He's always coming in. He's like, look at this new tutorial I made. It's not even released yet. And we'll just link it on YouTube.
Inside the
Okay,
statute of limitations.
It's,
Oh, really?
That's good.
So this
All right. So you take off, tear apart the tickets, and hand me the one that doesn't say keep this ticket.
Do not
Here.
Do not keep the ticket. Tim won it, but his was a year ago. So
Sounds like he needs to redo it.
he's,
So,
in the running.
So do you have to do a tutorial?
Take
you
quite
have
so
to-
long.
do a tutorial on what you win.
So, right, like
Yeah,
a year from now, I have to, whoever wins it has to do a tutorial on what they learned.
That should be the rule.
yeah.
What I
think
would,
that should be.
I mean, I would really like it if, like, 2 months from now you did it. But I know that it's not that easy to make it happen. All right, so here we go. Lucky number 626.
626.
Are you kidding me?
You got it.
Universe.
Come on.
Here's the thing. Come back next time.
Dude,
I'll do another giveaway, and Tim will not be able to win.
All right, nice result.
Dang, Tim.
This was Providence too. My anniversary is June 26th. 626.
The prophecy was
There you go.
Nice.
I'm gonna suck your soul out, my friend. Okay, so
You
if
can't
would,
have it.
Somebody collect the other tickets and just toss them in that.
Trent,
Yes, sir.
you don't have that power.
don't
You're
have
not Sauron.
I was just
That
being.
Is,
Just
you don't have
referencing.
that power.
That's good for you, Tim.
It didn't sound very.
Oh no! He's got 2 days left on his thing. I don't have.
That is hilarious.
Oh, guys. All right.
Well
Man,
done.
awesome, man.
Well done.
So thank you guys for coming.
I hope you learned something.
Go to.
That's cool.
Go
We
to.
learned that the game is rigged.
So we're trying to keep the group active. Dallas After Effects user group on Facebook. Group/Dallas AEUG. Keep posting stuff. Post your reels. Post stuff you're working on. Post questions. Post plug-in videos you find. Whatever inspires you. Drop it over there, so we can inspire each other. Okay. Thank you guys very much.
Are we done streaming?
All right, see
We're
you
done.
later.
Hold on one
You guys, if you have